You're welcome to another beautiful edition of Sport Update on AYOGEN TV. It's a beautiful Thursday evening here at AYOGEN TV, located at Akindiagola. We are back on Sports Updates. Here with me in studio today is one of my very good analysts in the house, Tolulope Emmanuel. You are welcome on board to Sport Update again.
Good evening, HP. Thanks for having me this evening. Today it's one of the day I'm so much delighted because today happens to be my birthday, and it's good to be here this evening. I'm so much happy.
Well, happy birthday to you, Tolulope Emmanuel. More grace to your able. Wish you long life and prosperity.
Amen.
From all our esteemed viewers at home, we celebrate Tolulope Emmanuel, and I think today's episode will be for celebrations today. Let's quickly discuss about yesterday matches that played at the European League. You know, we have Manchester United actually played a 1-1 draw on Tuesday. Don't you see that Manchester United are messing up their chance by playing 1-1 draw? Because they have to win this match to make sure they close the gap in the English Premier League.
Well, that result was kind of absurd for me when the result came up. At some point, I saw them leading up to like for a number of quite of minutes in that game, and until I saw the equalizer, and I was so mad and furious that they could not extend the lead again to the end of the match, and it's kind of because they scored earlier in that match, and for you not to score any other goal to the end of the 90th minute and even added on time, that's not so good on the part of Manchester United squad. And considering the intensity in the league at the moment, whereby you are losing points right at home, it's nothing to write home about. And with the kind of caliber and squad you guys are parading at the moment, you have the likes of Paul Pogba and Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo of this world, and yet you still find it difficult to get the desired result. So it's nothing to write home about with that result, and it might be difficult seeing Manchester United in the European scene next season.
Don't you think their play of 1-1 draw was effect of the international break?
Well, it's normal when you go for international break, and when coming back you probably lose form or something like that. But even before they go on that international break, they've been having this kind of poor results. Although there had been kind of a bit change when this guy came in. I mean, Ralf Rangnick. Has been a bit of change compared to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has been
during his own reign. But presently, Manchester United actually offload a lot of their players in the transfer window. Don't you think this will also affect them, considering the fact that they've not been performing excellently well in the English Premier League?
Of course, you losing certain players and you know feeding replacements, Anthony Martial, Diallo, and Van der Beek to Everton. And you didn't get a replacement for these guys. I think it's to speak, and though if there's no injury, they still have a better squad. They have a better squad, but it's very unfortunate that even with the squad they have, they are not maximizing the opportunity. We can't. Okay, when the analysis and statistics was being shown that of Manchester United spending heavily on transfer in the last few seasons. I think they spent over €1 billion on transfer, yet they've not been able to win any trophy. It's not that good for them. With the money you got, and yet we're unable to replace those guys you let go in the winter break.
Okay, yesterday we have a lot of matches played at the English Premier League. We have Manchester City defeat Brentford with 2-0. Southampton actually defeat Tottenham with 3-2, and Norwich played a 1-1 draw. With the current situation of things in the English Premier League, don't you think Manchester City is now the champion of Premier League?
Of course, virtually everyone has been tagging them as being runaway league winners. Of course, sometime before the mid-season, a friend of mine said once Guardiola emerged at the top of a league, for him to lose that spot, it will be difficult. And I said, no, this is an English Premier League. You can still lose form, you can still lose point. But with the things he has been doing currently, even before the international break, where he won almost 8 matches, unbeaten run, and even after the international break, that streak still continues. So I want to see Pep Guardiola and his side to win, to be the champion of EPL once more, because those guys are brilliant and they are doing very well. Then about Tottenham and Southampton, that was one of the most shocking results of that fixtures for me, because at some point Tottenham was leading in fact up till around 70th minute or thereabouts, and all of a sudden the equalizer
it's like
came
we see
in.
the repeat of Burkina Faso Cameroon against Tottenham Southampton.
Same. I think same thing has affected Tottenham was also
Against Everton.
Everton, whereby even at 94th or 93rd minutes, they were still leading, and before you know it, you lose that point and
they lost the point all the way.
So,
virtually yesterday Chelsea was still playing at the FIFA Club World Cup, and they actually came out victorious. Their goalkeeper Eduardo Mendy is back into the team. Do you see them still coming up with this trophy? Because looking at the antecedent of a team that have won the FIFA Club World Cup, the Brazilian team have actually dominated. So far. And there was a time Chelsea lost to Corinthians by 1-0 in 2012. Do you see them coming back to claim this trophy?
Well, there's no record that cannot be broken when it comes to any record. Records are meant to be broken. And let me congratulate Chelsea fan and Chelsea as a whole for winning their semi-final yesterday. 2 days ago, I was speaking with one of the biggest analysts we have here, and I was saying, don't you see a shocker in this match that
exactly.
Odion Yalo is going to do a shocker for you? I said, is it Yalo or Ijalo? Jokingly, but when that goal came in, and even until the last minute, there was still this fear within me that I hope Al Hilal will not equalize this game.
Will not upset Chelsea in this tournament.
Thanks to Romelu Lukaku maximizing the opportunity he had and was able to seal the semi-final and even the final spot for Chelsea. So considering the antecedents in the last chance that Chelsea had, I think they were beaten by this,
1-0.
So it will not be an easy ride for them against Palmeiras come Saturday, but I still see them going past Palmeiras, all things being equal.
In the final. Yes. Okay, now we're discussing about Manchester United poor performance, and it is down now that there are players, a lot of key players that are actually calling for the sack of Ralf Rangnick and hinting that Mauricio Pochettino should come in. Do you think Mauricio Pochettino is the best, is in line to solve the problem Manchester United, is facing currently?
If we should start mentioning names of managers and coaches that Manchester United have hired since this legendary manager left, Alex Ferguson. They hired David Moyes,
Jose Mourinho,
what's this guy's name? This Netherlands guy,
Louis van Gaal.
Considering those prolific managers, and they were unable. Although some of them won.
Well, exactly. Jose Mourinho won the Europa Cup with them.
I don't. Rangnick is one of the most experienced manager we have in the game of soccer at the moment. When you consider his record, so calling for a sack, it's nothing that good to me, because you never know what Mauricio Pochettino can bring into the fold. Although we know Mauricio Pochettino to be a good manager, he did it well while he was at Tottenham. He was able to, I think, was the first manager to see them into the final of the UEFA Champions League. So he has been outstanding while he he played at, he managed Tottenham, but since he went to Paris Saint-Germain, this guy has not been doing well.
Been doing exceptionally well,
They-
and
they-
even in Paris Saint-Germain, they've been if
They had issues
they've had
with result
issues
and
the likes.
so
Even the owner of the club is telling him that, see, Mr. Man, if you won Ligue 1 for us and the Coupe de
Copa de
France,
France,
we are still
this-
going to sack you,
what we've
because
been
even
winning
before we
all
have Messi,
over and
Neymar, and the likes, we've been having this
It's
kind of trophy in
also
our
trophy
cabinet.
in their
So
cabinet.
coming up with this at the end of the season, no, there's no going anywhere for you. So with this, can he be trusted with the affairs of Manchester United?
although he might have understand the terrain of Old Trafford and Manchester United as a whole, and since the fans are calling for him, but left to me, I wouldn't want Mauricio Pochettino to get that job. I would like this guy, Zinedine Zidane, to, at some point, Zinedine Zidane was tipped for that job, but unfortunately, we are hearing again that Zinedine Zidane can be going to Paris Saint-Germain after the sacking of Mauricio Pochettino. But if eventually Mauricio Pochettino is being appointed as the Manchester United manager, he will do his bit. But it's now left in the hands of these guys, the squad member, the likes of Paul Pogba, Bruno Fernandes, David De Gea, Dalot, and all of these guys, Shaw and the likes. And you still have a world-class player like Cristiano Ronaldo.
In the
So I
team.
still expect them to support this guy. Don't forget, some of them have been having issue with Ragnick, and they've been calling for his head. So,
let's quickly take a look at one of the Premier League star players who have been performing excellently this season. Has actually been involved in 96 Premier League games, and he scored 35 goals and 50 assists, and that is Kevin De Bruyne of Manchester City. Do you see this man as an hot cake for Manchester City?
honestly, I don't know how to qualify this guy. This guy has been very brilliant and very consistent since he joined the Manchester City team. At first, while he was playing at Chelsea, nobody thought this guy would become a bigger player like this until he left for, I think, Roma then, or which thing.
Exactly. He also played at the Diez club in Germany.
I think Dortmund or Wolfsburg or something. Yeah, until he arrives back at Manchester City. This guy has been exceptional. It's been every season, in and out. This guy has been performing, and he has been brilliant. So I wonder, it will be a huge loss to Manchester City if they lose this guy come any season.
Let's talk about Chelsea performance since the acquiring of Thomas Tuchel. This in 379 days, actually qualified for 5 finals. Presently in the FIFA Club World Cup finals, he won the Champions League for them. The FA Cup is there. The UEFA Cup is there. Considering what is actually happening around the club, they have fatigue and the likes, and their outing at the English Premier League presently is nothing to write home about. But do you see this man as a successful manager at Chelsea?
Honestly, he has done very well. Within the space of a year plus, this guy has proven over and over that yes, he was
To be a manager.
Being a manager of
Chelsea.
If it were to be ordinary manager or who has not seen, let's assume he has not read the psychology behind the team before he accepted the offer, he would have problem, because while he was coming in, there was no big star. Though we have some stars, but they were not that outstanding the way we see them on that.
He made them to be a star. He made a lot of them to be star players.
The same set of guy Frank Lampard used, that was the same thing this guy also used, and he eventually won the Champions League with that same squad. So I think he's one of the successful managers so far, if I must rate him, within the space of 1 year plus.
Okay, now talking about the transfer window, Borussia Dortmund are still in talk to sign Karim Adeyemi. Since November, the club has been trying to reach a full agreement with Salzburg, but presently now they've turned their targets to Niklas Sule to complete the deal. Do you think Karim Adeyemi, presently his name has been coming up in social media these days that, okay, this guy is a promising young talent for the German team, because he has already played his allegiance for the German national team.
I think.
Do you see this Karim Adeyemi as a promising star?
If you continue with that form he's having now, I think the sky is just the starting point for this guy. In recent weeks or months, he has been on the radar of many big teams in Europe, the likes of Bayern Munich, Juventus of this world, even Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea at a point, and even Arsenal. So he has been on the deck. People have been watching him. And this Sule guy, I think that deal is done already. There's no doubt about that. That deal has been sealed already. By the end of the season, he's going to join Dortmund. Yeah.
Okay, there's this particular news that is flying around the year, which have actually, it should have been at the point of discussion here today. In the last matches West Ham played, Kotsuma actually is facing a lot of things presently. As they said, he kicked a cat. And even Everton have actually dealt with this guy. Same as well as Adidas have withdrawn their sponsorship and Vitality. And you know, we've had a lot of scenario where a lot of players have engaged in so many dirty things, even by not kicking an animal like Kotsuma, and they've not meted any kind of punishment like this. Don't you think this will have a dent on Kotsuma's image?
Of course it will. Already he has lost his deal with Adidas, and because of him, West Ham United has lost their deal with Vitality, like you've mentioned. And somehow we can tag this as being racist, in the sense that, you know, this guy originated from Africans. Yeah, he's an African, although he played his allegiance with the French national team. So it's kind of appalling that this kind of mayor is okay already.
Even Martin Greenwood that assaulted his girlfriend
was granted bail almost immediately.
Even what's it called, Luis Suarez, who bite Giorgio Chiellini, they did not withdraw his sponsorship or any deal.
Not once, not twice.
Even Harry Maguire that was convicted in Greece for assault and the likes is still playing.
It's not that good for a kind of, and this will have a greater effect on Kotsuma. It might, if it might weigh down his performance, and he will not do well unless he leave that team, or in fact leave the shore of UK probably to another elite league, and it will be difficult because nobody will want to absorb him. Although we can't really blame the UK because they have laws, and there's a saying that once there's a law in a city, you have to obey and abide by it. So when the law has been stipulated and highlighted, you have to obey it. So it's not that good for Kotsuma to have aggressively kicked the cat. So, but you know, the punishment being meted on this guy has been so heavy, and it should be reduced to some extent, and embrace this guy at this trying time for him.
Okay, Champions League will be back next week.
Wow.
And we are having one of the big matches on Tuesday, which is Real Madrid against Paris Saint-Germain. And presently now, Karim Benzema is dubbed for that match because of the hamstring injury. What is your view considering this match? This match coming up on Tuesday, PSG against Real Madrid.
I'm seeing beyond the first leg already. I would tip
because Messi will return back to Spain.
Real Madrid to go beyond this stage. I mean this stage. But losing Karim Benzema at this moment, being one of their most high-flying guy, but that Karim Benzema is not with the team at the moment has not stopped Real Madrid from winning. They still have the likes of Vinicius Junior. This guy has been exceptional. I love this guy. Although he played somehow immature, but he has proved that yet that despite I'm young, I can still give the result. So I'm still seeing the result in favor of Real Madrid. Although PSG, they have the star already. They have the likes of Kylian Mbappe, Lionel Messi, and Neymar Jr. We already hear that there's possibility that Neymar Jr. will be.
It's like Neymar Jr. is back to
back into training, and there's possibility he'll be featuring in that
against
game.
Real Madrid.
They have the likes of prolific,
players,
Saint-Germain of this world,
Lionel Messi, Kylian Mbappe, Marquinhos,
this guy,
Idris
this Argentine guy,
Angel Di Maria.
So they have all it takes to actually conquer Real Madrid, but with the experience of Carlo Ancelotti and with the record Real Madrid has when it comes to, they might be playing bad in their league,
but when it comes to UEFA Champions League, just give it to them. They have all it takes to make it. Okay, now let's discuss about another transfer window. Chelsea captain Cesar Azpilicueta has requested for a face-to-face meeting with the technical director, with his chief Mariana. I don't think it is taking a long time before they give this guy another contract. And based on the fact that he's the current club captain he has achieved a lot with these teams. They have struggled a lot with them. And even the likes of Thiago Silva has been granted a new deal. Don't you think the deal is taking a long time?
Of course, it's taking...
Won't it have a bad effect on the team as a whole?
If care is not taken, Chelsea will lose this guy to another team. Because there have been many options for him. Already we've heard that Barcelona are calling for this guy, come, we need you. And if care is not taken, and with the current, should I call it rebranding at Barcelona now, they can actually win this guy to their foot, and before you know it, it will have this experience to that. So I don't know the issue with Chelsea, although we know, and it has always been on record, that any player that is above 30, it's difficult for them to give him a long-term contract. So probably that's one of the things they are considering. And presently we have a lot of guys in that Chelsea team that are having issue with contract. Don't forget, Rudiger too is still on contract issue for months now, and yet you've not been able to renew his contract. So losing Cesar Azpilicueta again, I don't think it would be all that going well for Chelsea. So, and being the club captain, I think that should be one of the things that should help this team and motivate them to give him a better and buoyant upper package deal and new contracts.
Barcelona crisis still continues. Their CEO, Ferran Ravaltas, has actually resigned. Don't you think it's getting too much for Barcelona from leaving of Lionel Messi? And it was early yesterday that it was 6 months ago that Lionel Messi actually have to leave the club based on financial issues. And since then, they've acquired the signing of Xavi Hernandez. Is not even doing really absolutely well with the Catalan club. Don't you think that with the resignation of their CEO presently, the tries to continue?
Of course, this crisis started many years back. It was not known to the public. That's when they started having issues with Eric Abidal, Lionel Messi himself, and some managers like that. Even their president, I think Bartomeu, the other then. So this crisis started many years back, and it still continued. They were unable to manage it. Nobody expected that it would come to limelight like this, and it would give them serious problem. But the CEO resigning again, that would be a big blow on their part, and for them to get a better replacement of. Although I think 2 or 3 days ago they signed a new deal with for sponsorship. I think that will boost out their financial resurgence again. But at a trying time, the old fold should still remain with this side. So for the CEO to resign, it will really be a dent on the image of Barcelona side, which is not that too good for them.
You know, Eric Haaland have also been in the front of all newspaper when it comes to transfer.
For past seasons,
Even
yes.
Barcelona have shown interest, Chelsea have shown interest, Liverpool, a lot of clubs have actually showed interest. And his agents, Manuel Rejola, is absolutely not putting all things down with him. The player will cost around 115 million euro, and Dortmund could receive 75 million euro, while the 20 million euro will go to his fathers and Mariola. Don't you think that with all these costs, it will make a lot of clubs to stay away from getting Haaland?
Well, considering Haaland age, the price tag on this guy is too high. But we wouldn't blame him because he has been delivering for Dortmund. And the same goes for Kylian Mbappe. You know, the price tag on this guy. So his agent also wants to market his player very high so that before you can seal his deal, there will be a lot of competitions from any other side, and the highest bidder will be able eventually sign this guy. So it's nothing too big if Erling Haaland is bought for 150, like you've said, because he has been really delivering both for national side and his club side.
I'm just getting this news now. Is a latest development. 268,000 individuals have signed a petition for Kozuma after the France coach Didier Deschamps has dropped the guy from the squad at least. Don't you think they are taking this issue of kicking a cat too far?
I think there's nothing to say than it's too far. Already, this guy has felt remorse already, and he has regretted his action and apologized
for everything.
And yet you are still giving him punishment upon punishment. It's not that good. That's why the factor of being an African comes in. If it were to be a European guy, like who was an indigene, like a son of the soil, this kind of punishment wouldn't have been meted on him. So because he's black, does not mean we should give him poor treatment or unfair treatment. So I see this as unfair, and it's not that good. This guy should be welcome and embraced back since he has regretted his action.
If you are just joining on, this is Sport Update on AYOGEN TV. You can as well join us on our Facebook, Instagram handle, as same as our Twitter. You can follow us on our YouTube too. Just click that short bell just to get notified always. We'd like to go on a short break. We are coming back. Stay tuned. You're welcome back to Sports Updates on AYOGEN TV. It has always been a very interesting moment with Tolu Lopel Emmanuel. We'll still continue. Pep Guardiola said we are not the best team in the world. The best team is Chelsea, who won the Champions League, despite the fact that they are trailing Chelsea with 13 points in the English Premier League.
I think Pep Guardiola has always been a brilliant manager and mind-playing game manager. You make some comments that you look at yourself, is this comment really right? Or at some point, this guy consistently tells fans and people that they should leave this Mikel Arteta. He's a brilliant manager, he can do this, he can do that. So for him to have said that Chelsea is the best side in Europe at the moment, of course, there's no doubt about that. There's no doubt about that. Chelsea is still one of the best, if not the best so far. So you have to reserve your energy and keep on intensifying. And when the final results eventually become bigger, that's when the ovation will become higher for you. I think that's what Pep Guardiola is trying to do. He's trying to remain calm and going bit by bit until the final results eventually open up. Although we are seeing the result already, he didn't want to tag himself as the best manager, and so that will not enter into his brain, and he will do some unnecessary mistakes and the like. So I think he's right by saying that.
And like I said earlier on that UEFA Champions League will commence starting from next week. Juventus against Villarreal is one of the matches we should be looking out for. But their captain, Giorgio Chiellini, is out due to injury.
Yeah.
Don't you think with the Stars player being out based on injury will affect Juventus' chance of progressing to the quarterfinal?
I think a few seasons ago, this same guy, Chiellini, was out of the team. I think Cristiano
Chiellini
Ronaldo
is one of the big boys of the team.
He's one of the biggest boy. Cristiano Ronaldo was still there with them then, and they were able to deliver until they were being sent off, I think in the quarters or semis. So for you to lose Chiellini, though it will tell on the squad, but they have Onushi, they have some of other bigger guys who can stand in for him, so they wouldn't really miss him much.
Philippe Coutinho has been doing exceptionally well ever since the return back to Aston Villa. Steven Gerrard, and it was a very good stint. And Philippe Coutinho has doubled the amount of Premier League goals contributions, even more than a lot of players will have.
Just
few days into the Premier League. Don't you see this? We are having. It's a time to see Philippe Coutinho of Liverpool back
into yes. I think
compared to his spell at Barcelona and Bayern Munich.
I think one of the issues he had then was injury problem.
Yes, it was an injury-prone player then.
So for him to gotten back his form, I think it's a plus for him. And then thanks to Frank Lampard, thanks to him that
Steven Gerrard
rather, that he was able to get the services of this guy and open him again into limelight, bringing his form back and then helping us to see that, yes, this guy can still deliver and can still give you the results you want. I think he has not done badly since his arrival into the Premier League again.
Okay, before we go on this segment for today, English Premier League will commence back fully during the week. And before I go to the English Premier League, FIFA has approved Ademola Lookman nationality switch from England to Nigeria. Should we say that as a very good news to all the Nigerians and the Super Eagles as a whole?
First of all, let me commend Genatroa.
He was the one who started this.
Honestly, this guy was, I love this guy. The way he was able to scout for players, the likes of Joe Aribo, Dennis, Emmanuel, Onyeka. This guy was, honestly, we must celebrate this guy. He has really helped us to see into many of the lost guys we've lost in the past. I mean, guys we've lost to other national teams. But for Lookman has been looking for his way to play for Nigerian national side before now. At some point, he wanted to force the move, but once it's FIFA, you cannot force your move. You have to remain calm. And thank God, it has been finally sealed now, and he has been granted the permission that he can play for Nigeria. So I think it will be a big plus, and there will be more competition in that Eagle squad again, so that you find there wouldn't be automatic shed for any player. If you are not doing well, sit.
I don't just think Ademola Lookman will have a boring start to life in the Super Eagle camp, because the man who has actually been clamoring for his call, Genatroa, is no longer there. Yeah.
For him to adapt to that side, it might be difficult for him, and if truly you want to prove to the world that yes, I really made the right choice, I think you shouldn't take him much time for him to start delivering for the Super Eagles. So I think you should have that adaptive nature for you to have left a league and come to another team, and yet you were able to acclimatize yourself very fast. So I think the same thing should be applicable when he arrives to the national team.
Okay, tonight Liverpool is hosting Leicester City at the Anfield Stadium, while Arsenal will travel to the Wolverhampton Wanderers Stadium. Liverpool against Leicester City. What do you think about this match, and who is taking the lead home, the 3-point home?
Don't forget, in the last I think 3 fixtures between this side, Liverpool have won them or many, except I think the last match they played. That was when Leicester was able to have an edge over them. But in tonight's game, they are just coming back from the national break.
And don't forget Mohamed Salah and Sadio
Mane is back. Sadio Mane is back, so that will be
same really as well as Naby Keita.
It will be a moral booster for this side that yes, we are back and we all have our squad members already on ground. So I still want to believe and trust in the brilliance of Jurgen Klopp, although
to do the magic
again against Brendan Rodgers' side. Although Brendan Rodgers' side, Rodgers on himself will want to prove that yes, I'm still here
and coming back home to the Anfield. They will still want to do some miracle. Arsenal against Wolverhampton Wanderers.
I think the best gift I can receive today is
tonight as a birthday gift is that Arsenal will win this match.
But when it comes to Wolverhampton and Arsenal fixture, it has always been dicey. It's always been difficult for Arsenal. Although I could remember a few seasons back whereby this same Wolverhampton defeated virtually every big team in England then, the likes of Manchester City, Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool. Only Arsenal was able to defeat them in that season, and that season Arsenal was not really doing well. So I think want to believe they can prove same point again. Thank God some of their guys are back and there's no much injury problem except for Tomiyasu, who is still a doubt to that team. Granit Xhaka is back, Mo Elneny is back, and what's this guy? So I think with the squad, Arsenal should still be able to, if not the maximum 3 points, but
at least they should come home with 1 point.
The best, if Arsenal eventually want to go to Europe next season, the best they can get is to get the 3 points.
Wolverhampton Wanderers. In the Spanish, we have the Copa del Rey again. We have Valencia taking up Atletico Bilbao tonight. Valencia against Atletico Bilbao.
No doubt, it's going to be Valencia.
It's going to be Valencia. Let's take a look at Copa Italian. We have Atalanta's against Fiorentina's, and Juventus is hosting Sassuolo at the Turin.
Well, there's something that has been very interesting when it comes to Coppa Italia. You might be defeating one another in the league. But when it comes to Coppa Italia, there have been a lot of shocker. I wouldn't forget that season when which team defeated Juventus then. And they have all the big stars of this world then, and yet they were defeated. So in today's fixture, Sassuolo should not be a problem for Juventus. I still want to see that Marcelo Milan Allegri should be able to give or get the results against Sassuolo.
Okay, before we leave, before we give you all the statistics from all leagues, Chelsea have offered Antonio Rudiger's 200 million euro a week of wages demand. Despite the fact interest are still coming from Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. Do you think this guy will stay at Stamford Bridge?
This will only tell if he has the like and love of Chelsea in his mind. Because for any player who is being asked or who is being called by Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, no player will want to think twice. You want to seal the option very fast. But for his wage, like his demand to have been met, I don't see any reasons why he should not sign the deal instantly. So thank God Chelsea board have eventually think over it, and they say they will be able to give this guy the needed demand. And since that has been done, Rudiger should still remain at Chelsea because they still need this guy at Stamford Bridge.
Okay, straight to the English Premier League because our time has already fast spent. We have Manchester City leading with 60 points. Already played 24 matches. Liverpool have already played 22 matches, and they are still with 48 points. While Chelsea sit at third with 24 matches played with 47 points. West Ham United is enjoying their stay in fourth positions after they played 24 matches with 40 points. And Manchester United has played 23 matches and still enjoying it with 39 points. We don't have much time again on this segment. Until Saturday that I will still come your way. Before then, Mr. Tolulope Emmanuel, a word to our esteemed